pollution is the biggest environmental health risk in the European Union. Pollutant levels are above the guidelines set by the World Health Organization. In response, the EU has revised its Ambient Air Quality Directive with stricter limits to be set from 2030. But some member states may use the right to delay the process up to a decade in order to protect economic activity. On eu-decoded, we will decipher this reform for you.
Around 300,000 Europeans die prematurely every year due to air pollution. It's a major cause of several diseases, including asthma, lung cancer, stroke and diabetes. To reverse this, the directive sets new limits for half a dozen major pollutants by 2030. For example, the microscopic particles known as PM2.5 should decrease from 25 to 10 micrograms per cubic metre, and in the case of nitrogen dioxide from 40 to 20 micrograms per cubic metre.
The European Commission acknowledges that air pollution affects vulnerable people the most. We are talking about children, the elderly, the sick and the least wealthy. Let's see if the European citizens are aware of this reality.
Πιστεύω ότι η ατμόσφαιρα στην Αθήνα είναι πάρα πολύ κακή, διότι κυκλοφορεί πάρα πολύ αμάξι. Πολλοί κόσμος δεν χρησιμοποιεί τα μέσα ή δεν περπατάει, προτιμάει να χρησιμοποιεί τα αμάξια του.
Σίγουρα η Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση πρέπει να παίξει μεγάλο ρόλο σε αυτό το ζήτημα, γιατί ο κόσμος, όπως σας ανέφερα, υποφέρει, είναι πάρα πολύ δύσκολη η κατάσταση. Σίγουρα θα πρέπει να πάρει κάποια περιβαλλοντολογικά μέτρα.
Quando scendi per venire giù qua in città a Roma, tu vedi questa striscia grigia, questo orizzonte di grigio.
Mi rendo conto, abitando fuori Roma, che quando vengo qui proprio lo smog, l'aria, cioè si sente.
Bisognerebbe intervenire, forse maggior controlli, macchine, vedi il traffico che c'è.
Bisogna mettersi comunque di impegno e rendere consapevoli tutti i cittadini con magari delle campagne per le strade continuamente, per fargli rendere conto di quella che è veramente la situazione attuale, perché siamo praticamente a un punto di non ritorno.
I will now talk with Robert Hodgson, who covered this topic for Euronews. Hello, Robert.
Hello.
So why was it important to revise this directive and what should change in air quality standards?
In 2021, the World Health Organization made much more stringent its own recommendations on health pollution limits. So in 2022, the EU followed up with its own proposal, and this month they've adopted more stringent limits of their own, but they're not as stringent as the World Health Organization's.
And even so, some member states might want to delay, to postpone the implementation of the directive. Why would they want that, and which conditions should be met in order to do so?
Well, it's been a problem for years that member states of the EU have had great difficulty even complying with the existing regulations. More than half of them have been sent to court for breaches of the existing emissions pollution standards. So in the end, in order to get the legislation adopted, there's a clause whereby countries can demand a 10-year delay. But Germany wanted specifically to have driving bans and the shuttering of factories excluded from this.
And finally, a key issue in this revision of the directive is the access of citizens to justice when they have been harmed by this problem. What is at stake?
Well, the directive allows non-governmental groups to scrutinise the plans of governments to put in place the limits that the directive demands. It also gives citizens access to the courts. It actually specifies explicitly that if someone's health is harmed because the government hasn't, or a company has caused pollution, then they're entitled to sue for financial compensation.
Let's now see some more relevant facts and figures.
Energy production, agriculture and industry are the activities that most contribute to air pollution, though in urban areas traffic is a major source. The Environment Agency ranks cities in Sweden, Finland and Estonia as the cleanest. The most polluted, though, are in Poland, Bulgaria, Romania and Italy. In the rest of the EU, the air quality is fair or moderate.
On our decoding journey, I will speak now to the European Parliament rapporteur for this file. The 27 member states will have now 2 years to transpose the directive into national law. Are you concerned that some countries are arguing that this might have a potential harm to the economic activity?
This will be a process that the EU has to accompany, to support the local, regional and member states, authorities, obviously. But to be honest, pollution is a slow motion pandemic. We saw what we were able to do in front of a pandemic. Nobody was asking about like the economy. It was a health crisis and we address it, and this is what we are going to do.
This legislation somehow suggests that the Green Deal is a big and important priority for the European Union, but somehow does it have to be calibrated to face competition from the United States, from China, other regions?
Of course, but the problem here is that we are not confronting like competitiveness with the green agenda. Like this is, I think, the wrong approach. To move on the green agenda is to build the competitiveness of tomorrow, because we know that green technology on mobility, green technology on energy, on buildings, on efficiency, it will be our competitiveness tomorrow and our model of prosperity. What is happening with China, for example, that we have tariffs to their cars. The problem is like they were going more fast than us.
Finally, the current parliament is a bit more polarized, and there are a lot of political sectors more aligned now with the interests of agriculture, industry that emit a lot of polluting gases. Aligning these two interests will be the biggest battle for the parliament.
Well, we will have a lot of discussions about this, but its discussion is well deserved, I would say. Like it will be the biggest transformation since the Industrial Revolution, what we are doing, decarbonizing our economies. The primary sector is an important sector for our economy, but also to managing our territory, and it has to be protected, but at the same time it has to be transformed as all the sectors of our economy.
This directive is essential for the EU to meet its target of zero pollution by 2050. After all, air pollution is also harmful to rivers, oceans, crops, forests and ecosystem. These are crucial resources for a sustainable economy. So the virtue will be in finding the balance between all these interests. Thanks for watching, and don't miss next week's program for more decoding on European policies.